Good morning. Today is the 26th day of ER, the 3rd of June, and we're up to the second reading of the book of Numbers, the Parsha of Bamidbar, and we're going to look at a phrase that repeats many times, and this is, I think, the first time that we see it. And it says, "Mi ben 20 shana v'mala kol yotzei tzava," that the census that was taken, the first census, now in this book, which is why this book is even called the Book of Numbers, because there's so many numbers related to the censi. I think that's how you say it, maybe censuses that were taken. The idea was to count the males that were over the age of 20. And the way the Torah says this is from 20 years and over, all who go forth to the army. And I think the first time we see this is in Numbers 120. This is by coincidence that it's 20. Although it is the 20th verse of the Chumash, of the entire book. Now, what's so special about this number 20? And why is this described as the age from which someone is counted in the census? So first of all, we need to know that 20 is a very important number in terms of human development. It has many implications. We'll just talk about one, which is that when Adam was created, Adam and Eve were created, they weren't created as babies, obviously. They were created as full-grown adults, but their age was 20. Now, because of that, we have this image that the stature of a 20-year-old is the complete stature of a human being. And let's try to understand this in a number of different ways. But first of all, we have to understand that they're not just being counted as full people in the census, but they're being counted as those who can go out to the army. What is the purpose of this army? One could think that maybe the purpose is to go to war. So let's take a closer look at this. At 20 years, the sages say in the Mishnah in Avot that a person is ready to pursue, ben 20 lirduf. What kind of pursuit are we talking about today? A lot of people say that to pursue means they begin to pursue either marriage or begin to pursue their livelihood, money, all these things. But really, in the Torah context, to pursue is a famous verse, Sur mera v'aseh tov bakesh shalom v'rodfeu. Depart from evil, meaning veer away from evil, do good, seek peace, and pursue it. To pursue is, first of all, to seek peace. And this is a very important thing to understand, and which is very hard for the world to understand this, and not just for the world, it's also very hard for even Jews to understand this, particularly the Jews who live in the land of Israel. And the idea is that when you join the army of God, your sole goal, the only purpose that you have in the end, is to bring peace to the world. You're pursuing peace. But, and this is the hard part to understand, to pursue peace, you many times have to use a lot of strength. And you have to be very vigilant. Because peace can only exist when you're able to, as it says here, to veer away from evil. To, if it's possible, to stay away from it, meaning to drive it as far away as you can. Sometimes there's no option but to destroy the evil. But the goal is always to seek peace. So the mission of the army of Israel is to bring peace to the world, to make peace by the Torah. The Torah is the instrument of peace. How is it the instrument of peace? Because it brings peace, as we say, that when God came down on Mount Sinai, He annulled the decree that there shouldn't be any connection, meaning there shouldn't be peace between the supernal worlds and the mundane worlds. And He was the first to come down, and He came down with the Torah, which is what makes the peace between the worlds, between the realities of the supernal and the mundane, and the peace between all the creatures, all the created creatures in the mundane world. Now, not everyone can join the army, as it says here. You have to be 20 years old. The idea here is that you join the army, which in Hebrew is an acronym. This is not in the Sages, this is a later acronym, but we see from many, many places in the Bible that this is exactly what it means, that an army is, or means, to go out and to come back in. Yotze veba. Many times the Israelites asked the prophet, appoint for us a king who will take us out and bring us in. Meaning they wanted a king who would be able to lead their army. The sages say about this that when you seek peace and pursue it, why do you both need to seek it and pursue it? Because to seek it is talking about peace in your own place, in your home. To pursue it means to pursue peace elsewhere, by others. So the idea here is that only those people who have peace themselves, whose home is peaceful, whose environs are peaceful, they are eligible to go out and bring peace to the rest of the world. And this is one of the important stipulations here. So the notion behind this of a person being ready to go out at the age of 20 to pursue peace is that by this age he has already achieved peace at home. And what's the idea about that? We call that the development of the sphere of Da'at. Da'at means knowledge, but it's better translated many times as consciousness. Consciousness has to develop enough so that a person can first of all pursue peace at home, and at home doesn't mean necessarily within his four walls. We mean at home even within his body. He has to pursue peace in his relationship with God, in the way that he lives personally, individually, as a private individual. Then he also has to marry and be able to pursue peace in his marriage. And once he's done all that, he's ready to pursue peace elsewhere, to go out and to teach Torah in such a way that it can affect people and bring peace to the world. Because unless you've actually attained peace between yourself and yourself, between yourself and God, between yourself and your spouse, you don't know yet how to present the Torah, how to take out of the Torah, how to bring from the Torah the tremendous lessons that are needed in order to bring peace between people elsewhere. So really this is charting the development of our consciousness from our childhood until the age of 20. And we're saying that once you reach the age of 20 and you've attained all these levels of peace, which in Hebrew also means completeness, shleimut, once you've reached all that, you can go out into the army of God and you can pursue peace elsewhere. So the education of a child really begins with learning how to take care of themselves, how to bring peace to themselves. So turning from evil is really the first stage of the education, from the time that he's a child until the age of bar mitzvah, 12 or 13. And then the main focus of the parents, and hopefully they ingrain this in their children, is to first of all veer away from evil. And that means to know the difference between good and evil. And the way that we ingrain this in an observant home is that we teach the children that there are things that are permitted and some things are prohibited. And we create in them this clear understanding that there is evil that needs to be veered away from. Certain things are prohibited and you need to stay away from them. As the child matures, they will understand also moral evil and also be able to veer away from that. Then, from age 13 and on, the main education is about duty. Is about learning that it's not just about veering from evil, it's about doing good. Meaning that even the act of veering and steering away from evil is in itself an act of goodness. It's not just that this is prohibited and okay, you stayed away from what's bad. You also, by staying away from what's bad, by veering from evil, you actually did something that is positive, something that is good. That's what it means, steer away from evil and do good from the age of 13 and on. And then, like we said, the individual takes on at age 18, as the sages say, is a time for marriage, to learn how to use these to not only pursue peace elsewhere, but first of all to have peace at home. And that is the essence of what it means to get married. That's the essence of marriage. Marriage is not for the purpose of living happily ever after. That may be the byproduct. The marriage is first of all in order to learn how to live peacefully with another human being. Not just another human being, but one in which your life is tied to. And you're actually opposites. You're a male and she's female, or the opposite. You're female and he's male. But learning how to join these two opposites together is the essence of what it means to reach peace at home. And once the individual is ready for this, then he's ready to pursue peace elsewhere, to reach a state of being joining God's army, joining the army, which, whether it be the army that distributes goodness and kindness in the sense of what many Chabad Shluchim do, or whether it be the army that actually has to fight battles on the battlefield. The goal in the end is the same. The goal in the end is to bring peace to the world. It's to bring the sense of peace that we have inside, to be able to give it to others, and to share the Torah with others so that the Torah may redeem the world and bring redemption. Thank you very much for joining today. I hope to see you tomorrow. All the best.